Lord Mandelson, living in this part of the world, one of the things that you often hear is that the West is finished, that it's lost its energy, it's lost its dynamism and creativity, and that the rise of Asia inevitably means that Europe is finished. Now, personally, I don't subscribe to that at all, and I'm sure that the representatives from the British Chamber of Commerce don't subscribe to it either. But if, for example, you found yourself sitting at lunch in the Raffles Hotel next to someone who had been expounding those sorts of views, I wonder what you'd say to him.
You try to fix him, he fixed me.
I would say that I've just spent a week in China, and there was a country that hasn't got all the answers, hasn't got all the solutions, and is looking to the West for what? Advanced technologies, ways of adding value as they move up the supply chain, the production chain, need our skills, need our intellectual property in so many different ways, need our demand for their goods, incidentally, and also need our investment as much of as our know-how as our capital stock. So what I would say to that person sitting beside me is two things. You're doing a lot right, but you don't have the monopoly of wisdom. Secondly, we still have a lot to offer. I mean, not only our know-how and our investment, but also our markets in North America and in Europe, which are huge, have massive disposable income, and want to buy the sorts of things you're becoming increasingly good at producing and providing. And that thirdly, and most importantly, this world is not going to thrive or prosper. Not us, not Singapore, not the West, not Asia, by pursuing beggar-your-neighbour policies. You know, the globalization is an extraordinary thing, and it's brought through its openness boom enormous benefits and opportunities. It's transformed the individual lives, lifestyles and potential of people in our world. But globalization can go wrong if it doesn't have the right mix of policies to sustain it and make it not just secure, but environmentally friendly and sustainable too. It takes all of us to provide and make up the mix of those policies. All of us, not just some, not just the new kids on the block in Asia, but some of the older hands as well.
Peter, you have been called the first spin doctor in the world.
Sorry?
Spin doctor.
Spin doctor.
Spin doctor.
Okay.
30 years from now?
I've been called one or two other things as well.
Can you mention a few?
No, but I just wonder, it's about 30 years ago, and nowadays there are spin doctors all over the place. How do you see this institution, which it is now, has changed the relationship between politics and the press, and the politics and the public in general?
I tell you what I think. I think that spin doctoring, as you call it, is not a substitute for good policy and good decisions in government. You know, you can't make up for what you're doing wrongly or badly in government by good presentation or by good spin. Forget that. I tried it once myself. It didn't work, and so we had to sort of change the party and its policies in order to get where we wanted to be. And you know, despite the attractiveness of the early spray paint job that I did on the Labour Party. But whilst spin doctoring is no substitute for good policy, effective management of the media is necessary if you're going to get anywhere with your policy. And I'll tell you why. We live in an age now, an internet age, where we see a proliferation of media, bombarding you, the public, with information, views, opinions, sometimes very difficult to see what's opinion and what's fact, what's information and what's hearsay. There's such a sort of glut of information out there in the blogosphere that it's actually very difficult for you to judge between the sources of information that are bombarding you, but presents us in politics with absolute necessity to feed that glut of media with as much fact, accurate information, as well as our own viewpoint, quite honestly, because as a government, as politicians, we're entitled to our views along with everyone else, you know. And yet it's very easy to find them completely submerged, buried under a sort of mountain of gossip, hearsay, personality, guff, and misinformation. Now, I don't criticise the media, as I've made clear. They're all our friends. They're only trying to earn a decent crust in a very difficult and challenging and competitive world. All I would say is...
You've got to say that more sincerely.
I'm sorry, the words have got stuck in my... But whilst there are plenty of you out there, there are going to have to be plenty of us up here trying to manage you and get the truth to the public.